Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for the last Championship review show of 2020, a year we probably all want to forget, but we need to just wrap it up in a bow with our Championship review show. We're going to go through the 11 games that took place in round 22. Obviously, one postponed, Watford and Millwall, because of COVID. Let me know that you can see me, hear me loudly, clearly. Get your comments in on each game as we go. We'll try and do goal of the round and team of the round as ever we do. And we'll try and focus in on one game at a time. Happy to go into any other topics you would like to talk about. And we will begin imminently. First of all, you guys know the drill. We've got to say thank you to Russ, because without people like Russ, the channel wouldn't be where it is right now. Russ is our fan sponsor for the Championship preview show. Fan and now a friend, despite Ben's terrible taste in football teams. As you can see there down the bottom are my plugs. We'll just go for the Super Chat one for a little while. You can Super Chat anytime during the show. Your support has been amazing through this year, and thank you to everybody who has done so. Let's have a look at the results from this most recent round. It was Birmingham 0, Derby 4. I really started with this desk now to look like a proper sports reporter guy leaning in like that, haven't I? It's just my eyesight, I think. Millwall and Watford postponed. Sheffield Wednesday 2, Borough 1, Huddersfield 2, Blackburn 1, Luton 2, Bristol City 1. That's a 2-1 home wins here. Norwich 1, QPR 1, Preston 2, Coventry 0, Rotherham 1, Barnsley 2, Wycombe 2, Cardiff 1, Stoke 1, Forest 1 in the fog. Brentford 2, Bournemouth 1. Brilliant watch along on that one last night, especially that first half. Tremendous stuff. Swansea 0, Reading 0. I tapped out at that point and went and watched The Crown. So, as ever, we will start at the top. And congratulations to Norwich, who are going to be going into the new year at the top of the table. We already knew that because they had a nice little buffer. So get me your comments on Norwich 1, QPR 1. There are your teams. McGowan in goal for Norwich, but Norwich are going to get another goalkeeper injury here. The reserve to the reserve is now in between the six. I don't know how far Krill is. Maybe they'll rush him along, because Daniel Barden, if anyone can tell me anything about him, played the second half of this game. Aaron's Zimmerman, Hanley, Sørensen get involved in Max Aaron's over on Football Index now the transfer window's open. I'm sure your share price will go up there. Skip and McLean. So McLean is still keeping his place over Rupp. I can't see Rupp on the bench, so he might be out of shot. Cantwell, Vrancic, Buendia. Some people have made a good point in the chat that maybe they need a runner, a pacey dribbler. I know, obviously, Buendia and Cantwell and Vrancic are all decent dribblers, but just that extra dynamism maybe off the front there. And the Championship goal machine, Teemu Pukki. For Rangers, Dieng in goal, Kane, Dickey, Cameron, Barbe, Hammerleinen, Chair, Bull, Carroll, Dykes, and Samuel. I'm sure that setup is not right. And Lyndon Dykes is obviously the forward there. Where Jeff Cameron ended up, I'm not sure either, but I'm sure you guys will let me know. Right, let's have a look at some stills from this one. Get your comments in. Tight one here. That's Vrancic playing that one through. It's a nice reverse ball for Pukki, who it goes to. Pukki then goes through and squares it to Cantwell. You can see Cantwell is probably, in VAR land, and we don't say just offside anymore. If your fingernail's offside, you're offside. I think you can just see by the stripes on the pitch. But what I will say is if Pukki goes through and shoots and scores, Cantwell's not active there, and the goal would stand. So Pookie squared it off to Cantwell, and the goal got disallowed there. Here is Mr. Cantwell again, and I'm going to pay Norwich a backhanded compliment here. They really play the Championship like a big club, like a big Premier League club. Appeals, you get touched in the box, you go down, you surround the referee, etc., etc. And I mean, it doesn't pleasure me to see it, but look, tiny bit of contact there. Cantwell's right foot against, who is that? 12 for Rangers. Ball against his right foot, and Cantwell uses the contact to go down and win the penalty. We've had it a million times on the channel this season. I always go through the little list. Is there contact? Yes. Is it proportionate to take the guy down? No. Does the contact impede him? No. In 2020, is it a penalty? Yeah, because they all get given. So Aaron's did it recently against Reading. Get the contact, go down, penalty. And if you're a Norwich fan, you say, well, tight games, that might win them for you. So down goes Cantwell, gets the penalty. Pookie sticks it in. This is referee Langford we are talking about. Now, when I saw that another penalty had been given, I thought it would be a blatant make-up call. But when you actually look at that, there's a very clear arm on the shoulder there from Zimmerman. And we now know in the penalty box, you have to put your hands behind your back to stop for a handball. And if you stick your arm out on a dribbler like a Cantwell or a Bright Samuel, and they go down, you're going to get a penalty given against you, which then begs the question, this is ridiculous. That's a denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, isn't it? So we know what the laws are inside the box, that if it's not an attempt to play the ball, which if he's given the foul for the arm, then I don't understand why, who is it? Is it Zimmerman? I don't understand why he's not been red carded there, unless the foul is for legs tangling, in which case, fine, yellow card. But I was under the impression it would be for the arm there. But referee Langford, everybody, Wednesday and Reading fans will remember him, won't they? There is Bright Samuel stepping up. He sticks the penalty home against the debutant, Burton, in the goal. Get your comments in on this game, by the way. But look at that. I think that might be in stoppage time. Adoma just a bit too much on the cross, and Samuel from 1 yard out or 2 yards out sticks it over the bar. So the impression I got from this game was that Norwich were on top, but it got a little bit loose at the end. Where's the attack momentum? Yeah, Rangers did have a good go at the end. You can see there when they did go a goal down. But, I mean, by the numbers, there were two big chances apiece. 9 shots on target to 3 would say that Norwich, for sure, had the better of this one over the game. But as I always say, you've got to play the game state, haven't you? And they could have won it at the end. QPR 1-1, and that really big chance. So Norwich up at the top of the table. Little drop off over the last 2 games, but they're still on 2 points per game, which normally wins you the championship. And they're going to make halfway at 2 points per game if they can get a win in their next game. Norwich 22 points at home, 22 points away. So that's very impressive. 2 points per game, both home and away. And I believe that's the best away record in the division. QPR 4 points in 9. So although it's a good result for Rangers, obviously going away to Norwich and getting a draw, big picture, 4 points in 9, and you are sliding towards where you don't want to be going. However, there is a 5-point gap at the moment between Rangers and the relegation zone, as we all wait and see if there's going to be a pickup from Wednesday, Forest and Derby, which, looking at the last 3-4 games, it looks like it's starting now and starting to sort of come home. Any comments on this one, guys? Let's have a look. What does Dan say? Yes, he was offside when the ball was played to Pookie, but it was onside when Pookie praised him through. Dan, I disagree with you on that one, mate. In fact, let's bring the picture up. I don't think that we've seen a new phase get given when the player is running back, stands still and doesn't gain an advantage. But no, I don't think there's any new phase between Pookie receiving the ball and playing it to Cantwell. And Cantwell clearly has the advantage of getting ahead of the defender there. So, yeah, I respectfully would push back on that one, Dan. I don't think there's a new phase at all. Pookie should have shot because he was not offside. So I don't see a new phase. I think there's something in the laws as well, receiving the ball from a teammate. So I think it is worded in there. They don't mention phases though, which is annoying in the laws when we're trying to figure out what on earth they are given. Steve says VAR experience from last season in the Premier League has made Norwich more cynical. One of the bad influences VAR brought in the game. But I mean, you say cynical. It's that when I look at Norwich, I do see a team, and like I say, they play the Championship like a big club. I do see a team that knows how to win and that has tricky players like Aarons or Cantwell that can, make the most of situations like that. And it can be the difference, those few extra points, can't it? So, what do we got here? Alex says, very surprised these drew. One day I'll finally get QPR going down right. Had them going down 3 years running. Well, what a miss at the end. Even Hogan would have scored that. Yeah. I know someone who used to be a professional in Spain, and he told me that they had diving sessions in training. Even worse, he feels diving is a acceptable part of the game. Well, at the moment it is, isn't it? And, until something... The term I always use is there should be something in the laws that says contact proportional to impede the player or something of that nature. Because at the moment, whether the player's impeded or not is irrelevant. You just get in the wrong place in the box. And if there's a clever player the other side of that, then down they go. Dan adds, it's the Christmas period as well. Norwich record over this last 10 years has been shocking. Well, they are well placed, aren't they? Referee Langford, Chris. Yes, yes, indeed. A strange cat is referee Langford, isn't he? Someone said he's literally given a penalty for everything since that Reading Sheffield Wednesday game where he gave no penalties and he could have given about 4, couldn't he? I think I had referee Langford at the game I saw Watford Rotherham. Actually, I think he was okay, but there you go. What does Dan say? Oh, something about shot. I think Norwich shot conversation is a big issue. You mean conversion? Is part why we didn't. Yeah, agreed. It does feel like they could be this is one of the things of I don't want to be like a dinosaur and go, 2 up front, more strikers means more goals. But I know Buendia's chipped in. They only really got one finisher in the team, though, Norwich, haven't they? So if you have a midfield runner or a really good number 10 who's a really good finisher, even someone like, remember Kevin Nolan? He wasn't the most skillful player in the world, but he was a really good finisher, wasn't he? Even somebody of that ilk in that team as a finisher. Right. Nice one. Let's move on to Brentford-Bournemouth, which we did as the watch-along last night. This was a superb game. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for joining me in the watch-along. Really open, really good football in the first half, but it was open without being a complete car crash of a game. It was technically very nice to watch as well. Brentford there, Raya, Dalsgaard, Janssen, Pinnock, Henry, Jensen, Janel, De Silva, Mbeumo, Tony, Kanyos. For Bournemouth, Begovic, Smith, Cook, Simpson, Kelly, Billing, the other Cook, Lerma, Brooks, Solanke, Stanislas. A lot of quality on that pitch. And a really good win for Brentford. If I was a Bournemouth fan, I would think, well, we could have won that game. And if I was a Brentford fan, I would think in past years, this is the type of game that Brentford get accused of flaking out in and losing. And they don't. There's Dom Solanke, 40 seconds in. Obviously, he should score from there. He's clean through. Maybe he's a little bit cold. Amazingly, Raya parries that. And look at Pontus Jansson's position there. How he manages to get there ahead of David Brooks, number 7, and clear it off the line, I don't know, but he does. Excellent defending from Janssen there. And here's another Teemu Pukki squaring it to Todd Cantwell syndrome. How Rico Henry on the cover gets there ahead of David Brooks, I don't know, but why Billing is squaring that sort of laterally and not just putting it into the path of Brooks, I don't know. But poor decision making there from Billing, who'd done so well to get through, but that should result in a goal, shouldn't it? This one does. This is a great goal, really nice and patient. You see the ball just flying into the roof of the net. Look at Lloyd Kelly at the bottom of the picture. It's him that has crossed it in, and Solanke gets across the front. Really nice passing move and really good patience, and then cross there for Solanke to put home. However, Brentford good on set plays, bit blurry. Dalsgaard near post, up above Lerma, and Steve Cook there heads that one in. And in the second half, we were looking for some output from the wide forwards from Brentford. It had all been Tony for a while. And now we have Kanyos scoring a hat-trick and Buemo back in form, and Fosu comes off the bench and scores. So once the output is spread around the team a little bit more, Brentford looking fabulous. You see him, Buemo, really good assist that. He works the defender, crosses it right foot. He just hangs it up, and Fosu on the back post gets away from Smith, heads that one in. Let's have a look at the numbers. As I say, really good win for Brentford there in a game where there was a couple of big chances, as you can see, that they survived. Although Brentford 3 big chances to 2 in the end, 7 corners to 6, 16 shots to 11, 8 to 6 on target. But this is where stats doesn't tell you game state, does it? And just we know that Bournemouth really could have done a number on Brentford in the first 15 minutes. So they do. I think Thomas Frank said as much. They were superb for the first 15. Didn't press home the advantage. And there you go. Brentford, well, I mean, we've done this show 22 times this season already. And I've said, oh, well, they'll get going in the end. They'll find their way to the top 6. But you've now gone unbeaten. And then what is the record? 15 unbeaten in the Championship for Brentford. But all of a sudden, you're getting a win streak in there. And that is 13 points from the last 5. And they've pretty much missed out there hanging around in the playoff positions and shot straight through into the top 2. So Brentford looking really, really ready. Maybe a little bit further on than last season, where they had to come from way back with that win streak at the end of the season. They tuck in behind Norwich. They're still 3 points behind the Canaries. Bournemouth only, well, they've still got 8 points in the last 5, which is decent enough. But Brentford have come on strong and won the 6-pointer in that one. And particularly for Bournemouth and Norwich, 1 point each from the last 2 games has allowed a few of the other challengers to close it up a little bit when we thought there may be a danger of those two streaking away with it. Let's have a look at your comments. What have we got here? Bang on the money with this score. Brentford performing well against top sides and getting 0-0s when they struggle to score. Blueprint of a promotion team. Solanke finding his feet in the Championship. Think it's his level. Wasn't great in the Premier League. Guess he deserves it. Yeah, I agree with all that. It'd be nice to see him get another go. Good to see Brentford in the top 2 now. He's got a soft spot for them. I hope they continue. It'll be hard for them, although with Bournemouth and Watford. Yeah, indeed. The parachute cartel broken up temporarily, isn't it? Thought Bournemouth looked more likely to get a winner at 1-1. Yeah, I agree. Once Brentford got the second, B saw it out comfortably. Agree with that. Brooks wasn't really at the races. No, he wasn't, was he? I'm agreeing with all your comments now. Seat colour at Brentford, this always gets discussed, doesn't it? Sharing the ground with the rugby team makes it look full when there's empty seats. Hey, there's not going to be many empty seats if they keep on 15-match unbeaten streaks, is it? Let's move on. Swansea 0, Reading 0. There was a vague plan that I would double watch along this one, but in the end, would have been biting off more than I could chew there, and I wouldn't have been very entertaining for you. So 0-0 in this one. Let's do the Swans team there. Woodman, Guay, Bennett, Cabango. It's nice, got a bit of rotation across the back there. Norton stepping out. Is he injured? Bennett also appears to have been injured during this game. Bidwell and Roberts, big fan of those two. Always say that, the wide guys. Grimes, Smith, Fulton, Lowe, Ayew. So very settled team for Swansea. Reading, wish they could say the same with their injuries at the moment. Excuse me. Raphael, Estevez. So Holmes in over Moore, Morrison, McIntyre in over Richards, who is on the bench. So that's good news. Laurent and Renamoto are always there. Elise, Semedo, Ajaria, Baldock, Swift, another appearance off the bench, but they're really missing Zhao and Maite, who just gave them so much threat in their games for much of this season. I've got a couple of steals in here. Chance for Mark Guay there, just snatches at that, puts it over the top. Plenty of bodies in the way, but he probably should at least be hitting the target with that one. Andre Ayew there, glancing header, good save by Raphael. He's only just on the edge of the 6-yard box there. Let's have a look at the numbers, and they tell us that Swansea probably edged this 0-0. 6 shots to 3 on target, 7 corners to 2, 2 big chances to 1, and the possession. But no winner in this game. Get your comments in. Both teams stay in the top 6. That is Swansea's 10th clean sheet in 15 games. So their defence is functioning beautifully. Reading hanging on in there in the top 6. Only 7 points from the last 5 is the worst of the top 6 with those 2 defeats in there. But Stoke behind them just can't, perpetual 7th place Stoke just can't get up ahead of them. Let's have a look at your comments in on this one. What are we saying? Alex, another correct score. Get the Wednesday ones wrong though. McIntyre has been our biggest attacking threat. Yes, I didn't include that, RFC fan. There was another chance for McIntyre from a set play, wasn't there? Steve says Swans played well last night and on another night, but unfortunately came up against the immovable Rafael Cabral object. Yeah, good game. Good game for Rafael in the goal. Seems like a game that no one wanted to lose, but never looked like there was going to be a winner. That makes perfect sense. James, excuse me. Brilliant point for Reading with the injuries. Agreed. Just hope we can hang around the top 6. Yeah, totally agree with that. And Mr. E, we rode our luck, and you agree with the Swansea fan, Steve there. Raphael was excellent. Tip of the cap to him from all of us. A bit erratic sometimes, Raphael. Looks like a world beater 1 minute and then lets one through his hands. So good game for him there. However, we've got to be happy with our point considering the situation. Bennett off with a hamstring injury. Hopefully that's a little tweak rather than any kind of pull or tear. Worse still. So good luck to Bennett getting back. Let's just talk briefly Millwall and Watford. I think Sofa Score, excuse me, still give us quite a helpful little thing. So yeah, we can bring up the table. So Millwall are now 2 games adrift of everybody else. Their form's not terrible considering the slide they'd had before with sort of 5 points in the last 4 games is a pickup, isn't it? Watford, I actually think this is a helpful postponement because they've got a new manager in. They would have been going away to the Den, and what it has done is it's put a little rest in between games against Norwich and Swansea. So I think that will help Watford out, because obviously they beat Norwich, and now if they can get a win against Swansea in the next game, obviously we do that tomorrow in the predictions show, then it starts to 2 6-pointers against top 6 rivals. Starts to look decent for Watford, but we will move on from that one because there's nothing actually to talk about. Stoke 1, Forest 1. Can you get your comments in for me, please? Stoke 1, Forest 1. And both teams really living up to the narratives we've given to them, as in Stoke, really solid, really good defensively, but not quite yet doing enough to get into the top 6. And Forest just teetering away as maybe a Rotherham slows down, a Birmingham, a QPR. Maybe they just can sucker them in down the bottom. There's your Stoke team. Bursick back in goal. Chester, Suter, Collins, Smith, McLean, Alan Powell. Nice to see Alan back, starting, good player. Thompson. So who's dropped out there? Cousins. Brown and Vokes up the top for Forest. Samba, Christie, Figueiredo, Worrell, Ribeiro, Yates, Sal, Knockhart, Cafu, who started probably the last 3 or 4. Forest fans, help me out with that one. Amiobi and Graben up the top. And speaking of Graben, what in God's name was he doing for this first goal? I don't know what happens here. The corner comes in, and I think Graben thinks it's going in the side netting, and he goes to head it, and he just leaves it, and it goes into the goal. So complete brain fart from Graben there. Just head it away. Concede another corner. Do your job on the near post. Don't let anything pass. So poor from Graben for the first one. And then James Chester. It's a decent cross, to be fair, but Worrell just is the wrong side of him. Chester's all at sea there and heads it in to his own net. And then, of course, we were doing a super stream, and I was wondering whether this one would last the distance because the fog was getting worse and worse, but they do manage to, in the end, finish the game. Possession for Forest, 14 shots to 6, but look on target, typical Stoke, 4 shots on target to 2. They don't need possession or passes to do damage and create chances under Michael O'Neill. 1 big chance apiece, nailed on draw. Look on the bench, though, Clucas and John Obi Mikel as well. So I'm still standing by the fact that Stoke will, in the end, once they have even a 75% fit squad, move up that one place. And if Michael O'Neill is currently saying, well, look, let's just get through and be in the conversation, and we'll have a playoff push in the second half of the season, then fine. And look, only 5 defeats. They're very tricky side to play against. 1 defeat in the last 9. Forest 4 unbeaten, and happily for them, in the time that they've scored 6 points in the last 4 games, Rotherham have only scored 3, which has meant a little sort of switch around there. So Forest outside the bottom 3. Obviously, Derby's good run is not good news for Forest. And, well, we'll talk about Sheffield Wednesday in a minute. 7 points in the last 3 for them. Let's have a look at your comments on this one. What have we got here? On a cold, wet night at Stoke, are we surprised it was a draw? Forest don't start scoring more goals, they'll be hovering around the relegation zone. Agreed, JR. Joel says Cafu looks great so far. So what is he, Joel? Is he an outright number 10? Let me know. Chris adds, Millwall's games in hand are against Bournemouth and Watford. Ouch. Sloth, one of our worst performances under Michael O'Neill. We were lucky to get a point. Bursick makes a worldy save at the end after a yes, with his feet, wasn't it? Cafu should score that. I do remember that, Sloth, as well. Mikel mistake to keep them in there. Don't get why Brown has transitioned into a striker. I think it's just injuries. Someone had to play up front for Stoke. Sloth will tell us how many they've had injured up top. And obviously Campbell, Fletcher's been in and out. Gregory's injured as well, isn't he? So, yeah, just terrible. Morning to James. All good this end. Expect Forest to pick up results when Houghton gets money to sign his own players in Jan. Interesting. Chris, says, thought it was an improved performance by Forest, far better than at Millwall. Watching that game reminded me of wearing glasses. I was wearing a face covering. I probably should wear glasses when you see me looking at the screen, but I don't. So, yes. Will Houghton be allowed many players? Well, we might see another ludicrous transfer window at Forest where they might... Olympiacos need any players at the moment where they might have to shift 4 or 5 out to get somebody in. Right, Rotherham 1, Barnsley 2. Get your comments in on inform Barnsley. 10 wins in 15 games for Barnsley. Barnsley have 30 points in 15 games. So we always look at 2 points per game. Oh, I do, anyway. And I say at any point, even though across 2 games, 2 points per game is good. Over 15 games, it's really, really good. Yes, I know before the comments come, I know what Barnsley's next 4 game is, but they are in superb form, the Tykes, aren't they? And so stable as well. I wonder if that's enough for Mowat to sign a new contract at any point, or is he and his agent going to have the be turning their volume up on their phones over January? Walton in goal, Solbauer, Hellick, Anderson, Britton and Styles wing-backs, James Mowat, central midfielder. Adebayo comes in to start with Woodrow and Freeser. For Rotherham, who've been besieged with COVID and waterlogged training grounds, and the EFL forcing them into playing this one, actually gave it a pretty good go in the end. Johansson, Olasunde and Wiles wide with a Heckler-Wood and Harding, Vassell, Josephsoon, Lindsay and Barlasser, and Ladapo up top for them. A couple of lovely goals by Barnsley in this one. And it's that guy, Mowat, isn't it? Out of contract at the end of the season. I wonder if any of the parachute cartel will throw a couple of million in as a bid for that one. Mowat, lovely move from the right, slides. So you can see him at the bottom of the pitch near the ref there. Slides in Woodrow. It's a nice finish from Woodrow. Cut open, lovely goal. This one's even better. Where's that one going then? Look at his. Sorry, I'm getting overexcited about Mowat here, but good players make good shapes. Look at his technique there. Beautiful. He's going to curl that one right in past Johansson into the far corner, curving away. Good player, Mowat. Look at that. Love that. Stick the corner right on top of the keeper. Crowd scene, and Michael Smith heads in the substitute. And from what our friend Iain was telling me, Rotherham gave this one a surprisingly good go, considering what had happened. And look, 2 big chances there, 10 shots to 7, 5 shots on target to 3. But Barnsley are a winning team at the moment, and this is what winning teams do. They got 2 in front, and they stayed there. Let's have a look at the table, because it's been a really bad... I know Rotherham have the 2 games in hand now, but this has all coincided with what we frankly all predicted. Derby trending upwards, Forest trending upwards, and Sheffield Wednesday surprising quick peak, 7 points in 3. If you're in the bottom 3 and you do that you're going to jump up a little bit there. So a bad time for Rotherham, great time for Barnsley, and I will just bring it up. Just not to rain on their parade, but Norwich away, Swansea home, Watford away, Cardiff home, the next 4 games. The first 3 of those, particularly tricky and a bit of a defining game, isn't it, at the weekend? If Barnsley show up at Norwich and lose 3-0 or something, we'll all say, okay, they're going to have a good season, but they're not going to challenge the top 6. If Barnsley go there and go toe-to-toe with Norwich, we'll say, okay, is this a potential dark horse here in the sort of top half of the table? What have we got here? Any comments on this one? Chaplin is self-isolating. Okay, thank you, Harry. was always going to be a Barnsley win with the situation. Annoying how ahead of themselves they are getting, though. Only good win was Watford. Well, I don't know if I've seen any of them. Let them enjoy it, hey. Let them enjoy it. Barnsley are on fire. Love Barnsley are on fibre. Broadband or crunchy nut cornflakes. Love a good underdog story. Barnsley have beaten the teams they should, but will lose at Norwich and begin slipping down the table. Could see Moa, Sheffield United next season. Aaron says, in fairness to Rotherham, they had us in that second half. I think we expect them to roll over. Came out motivated. Everyone said Norwich would bury QPR, and look what happened. We completely count Barnsley out. Barnsley have been terrific recently. Top half finish would be a success for them. Absolutely. Yeah. Must say, surprised that Ismail is doing so well. Wasn't a particularly good coach in Germany. Just came into a squad that already had a pattern of play and some good players, didn't he? So, but he's doing the job, and 10 wins in 15. They've all come under Ismail after Struber seemingly wanted out. Sheffield Wednesday, never a dull moment. Check out the video on the Pulis firing. I have not watched or known about the Chansiri press briefing this morning. Let me know what he's claiming. There is a 2-1 victory over Warnock's Borough that I had nailed on as too much chaos and that they would lose. Nope. They got the win. Westwood in goal. Lee's Dunkley now in the team. Excellent player for Wigan last season. Palmer, Harrison Odebajo wide. Bannon, Shaw, Pelopessi, Patterson, Windass up top. Under Neil Thompson, who Ipswich fans will remember. Borough, Bettinelli in goal. Jokesteel, Fry, McNair, Buller. Morsey, wing. Watmore scores again. Some interest in him if they can't get that deal through for him extended. Saville and Johnson with a Sombalonga up top in this one. Here are the goals. Neil Thompson's Sheffield Wednesday take the lead. It's a bit of a shame that Callum Patterson fell over there as he's sliding that one in, because it was a really lovely first touch by Patterson to get in behind, and he sticks that one home early on. Here is Shaw arriving. Lovely Barry Bannon cross. Classic left foot outswinger from Bannon. And that is 2-0. We said we're in the super stream, weren't we? Can they hold out 15 minutes in the second half? No. 49 minutes, Duncan Watmore scoring there after, is that Morsey on his back? I think it was good work from Morsey cutting that one back. But they do survive the remaining 30, 40 minutes of this one and get the win. Borough pushed, didn't force many big chances despite the 21 shots, only 3 on target for Warnock. They're only 5 corners. So Wednesday played that one well. And as I said, despite all the chaos and about to move on to the third manager of the season, they're actually looking, well, they're not looking in the best state they've looked in this season, because they have been closer to safety than that. Their form has also coincided with Derby's good form and Forest picking up 6 points in the last 4. But could be a lot worse, couldn't it? They could have, they could have been 6 points behind if they'd have lost this one. So swings and roundabouts, and interesting times as ever for Wednesday. Borough had been on a 3-game winning streak, so disappointing one from them. Wrong place, wrong time, I guess. Walking into the chaos at Wednesday and coming a cropper. They're still only 4 points off the playoffs, Borough. They do have a game in hand. They've only lost 6 games this season. Let's have a look at your comments. What have we got here? Chansiri said, Pulis told him we would go down with these players as they won't buy into his counter-attacking style, then claimed he wanted out and refused to turn up to Borough. Oh, I'll have to have a listen to this. That's all allegedly, according to Mr. Chansiri. I suppose if he's made that public domain, then so be it. Great result for us. Chansiri is killing us. If we can pull out of trouble, I'll eat my hat. Nobody would want to go to Wednesday at the moment with their crisis. Possibly not. Managers have big egos, though. Sounds like Pulis was basically trying to bully Chansiri, though. Phil, for the man, was very honest this morning. Hopefully the new man gets in, has his back. Alex, I'll have to listen to what's been said. If your interpretation of it is true, then that doesn't reflect well on Pulis. But we'll have a look. Where there's there's a fine line between telling a truth that you don't want to hear and forcing your unwelcome views. And yet Wednesday, only 3 points from safety. All depends on the next manager. Absolutely. Chansiri's main gripe seems to be that Pulis wasn't playing attacking football. Doesn't he know whom he was employing? Iain Holloway. There we go. There's a shout. Poyet or Fink? Who's Fink, Mr. E? The Fink. Howard Finkel. Jose Moraes. Yeah, he's been mentioned. Barnsley went down with him after Heckingbottom walked out and they sold all the good players. So not the best championship experience, but maybe some mitigating factors. But yeah, watch this space, and no doubt I'll be on here talking about a new Wednesday manager. Surely they'll wait until after January the 2nd when there's 2 weeks between championship games. No point bringing anyone in. Wednesday also play New Year's. They play tomorrow. So yeah, we won't be talking about a new Wednesday manager before then, surely. Luton 2, Bristol City 1. I'm sounding bunged up now, aren't I? Dear me. Get your comments in. Luton win at home. And I have a stat for you. Luton 7 unbeaten at home. I think they have a win streak as well. Oh, no, that's Huddersfield. We'll hold on for that. Huddersfield are the kings at home at the moment. Anyway, stop scrolling. It's annoying. I apologise. Sluga in goal for Luton. Pearson, Lockyer, Bradley, Norrington, Davis, Ray, Sat, and Panzu, Dewsbury Hall, Tunnicliffe, and Cornick. Collins there. Doesn't feel natural width in that team. Cornick I always saw as a striker, and Pelly Ruddock is definitely a central midfielder as well. But we know Nathan Jones gets width from the fullback spectacularly with Justin and Stacey in League One, didn't he? So maybe that's where your width comes from. For Bristol City, Bentley in goal, Hunt, Viner, Callis, Rowe, Semenyo surely up front there. That's probably incorrect. So Backinson, Naj and Masengo probably a midfield 3 there with Semenyo, Martin, Wells up top. Super stub Jeju stays on the bench. Still no Mawson, Sessignon, Vyman, Patterson. Reel them all off. There's tons of them injured for the Robins. Let's have a look at the goals. Get your comments in on this one. There's Glenn Ray on the back post. Callis just gets sucked in under the ball when Viner was probably dealing with it. Nice technique from Ray. Side foot volley. And Bentley's a good keeper, isn't he? And he finds the gap there. That is Bradley with an own goal there. Crossed in. To be fair to Bradley, he has to make that challenge, else Chris Martin's tapping that one home. He does manage to slam it spectacularly, barring in. Not quite a Romain Sawyer's level own goal, but a pretty spectacular one anyway. And here he is, climbing up on Dewsbury Hall. I'm struggling with this one. I think we might be in two things can be true territory here. I think it is a good finish, but it's right along the floor, swinging away. He bounces in the right place. And normally when you score from there, it has to be with some height and flying into the top corner. But I think Bentley will be disappointed with that one. But as I say, two things can be true, and we'll give some credit to Dewsbury Hall, who gets the winning goal. Big chances, 2-1 in Bristol City's favour. Shots on target, however, though, 5-1 in Luton's favour. Possession with Bristol City. The Robins, 6 points in the last 7 games. That is evidently third quartile form. They're currently in the top half, in the second quartile. They've been in the top 6 for much of the season. 4 defeats in 5. They are Sliding away from the playoffs for sure. Luton, well, they'd had a little slide, hadn't they? I think they'd gone down to 15th, possibly, going into this one. And their home form is now what's keeping them around halfway. It would be great for Luton to finish in the top half. But again, set your expectations and keep away from that bottom six. And that's a good job, I think, for Luton. Let's read some comments on this one. Anything on Luton and Bristol City? Lots of Sheffield Wednesday talk. Was Ben just singing Peter Gabriel always when Dewsbury Hall's, much to the irritation whenever we do a Luton game? Anything else on this one? What are we looking at? Bristol City have played defensive since the Cardiff win. I think they probably have. Anything else there? Geddes, surprised by Luton's performances and league position. Doing good. Fink has done well. I think we're talking a big Sheffield Wednesday conversation in here in Switzerland and Austria. I know nothing about him. But let's move on then and get your comments in on Preston 2, Coventry 0. Preston, third straight win, 16 points in the last 8 games for Preston. So I can call them erratic until the cows come home, but they have met my criteria for being in good form over an 8-game period now. So maybe I need to be quiet about them being erratic. Ruddock goal, back 3 for Alex Neil. Hughes, Davis, Huntington, Fisher and Earl wide, Gallagher, Brown, Johnson 10, Barkhazen, Maguire up top. Remember, keep an eye in January for the Preston 4. That is Davis, Brown, Pearson and Johnson, all out of contract at the end of the season. Expect some bids going in there for those guys. For Cov, Wilson in goal, still no Morosi, Ostergaard, McFadden, Hyam, Darboe and Giles McCallum drops to the bench. Allen, Sheaf, Hamer, Godden and O'Hare. Up top, Coventry just slipping a little bit now. They did have 10 points in 6, but it's 2 points in the last 4 now for the Sky Blues. Let's just have a look at the stills from this one. Nice bit of play by Dan Johnson. Beats his man a bit too easily, though. Sells him completely with just one little change of direction. Sticks it in left-footed, and a complete mess, this goal. Can you even see the ball? Maguire there, 24, is just poking that one through the gap into the goal from, 4 yards out. Coventry could not clear. Let's see what that's done to the table. And 16 points in 8 games. And, I mean, just look at the win column for Preston. This is how erratic they are. They've won as many games as Bournemouth and as Watford. But obviously the 2 draws, and they've lost more games than Coventry, Birmingham, QPR, and the same amount as Sheffield Wednesday and Derby. So erratic is still a thing. Two things can be true, but they're in nice form. 3 straight wins, 16 points in 8. You'll take that. Coventry, you just worry now that it's gone peak and a little fade. If that fade coincides with Derby and Forest and possibly Sheffield Wednesday improving their form, then you'd worry about them dropping back into the bottom 6. The key number, I think, for Coventry, though, look, they're 7 points above the relegation zone. And we've been banging on about the theory of, is it going to just be that 22nd place? Are Rotherham and Wickham going to get cut adrift here? And you'll have a 4 or 5-way shoot for 1 place. That would make all of those teams pretty happy. What doesn't make me happy is SofaScore reloading the page while I'm in the middle of dribbling on. Let's have a look at your comments. What have we got here? I'll just read Logan. Preview show tomorrow morning, matey. Tomorrow morning. For the first time in about 15 years, I'm not working on New Year's Eve, hey? 2020, everybody. Prestonly quietly getting on with things, slowly climbing the table. Yeah, they just got to hope it's a quiet January and they don't lose any of those out of contract guys. I think Cov should be safe as well. Really do think Coventry will survive by a point on the last day of the season. They look lost at the minute, but they don't half progress the ball forward when they need to. That will work eventually. You'd hope so. Preston linked with Ched Evans. You can still find him. Anything else here? Spot the ball. Classic. Newspaper used to run that. One of the tabloids, wasn't it? Moving on. Huddersfield 2. Blackburn 1. And here's my stat. 5th straight home win for Huddersfield. 15 points in 15 for Huddersfield at home. That will keep the wolf away from the door, won't it? 2 goals for Naby Sarr in this one. And the second was actually really good. There are the teams. Is Tony Mowbray underachieving now with this group of players? I love Tony Mowbray from Ipswich days. But, yeah, well, we'll get your thoughts on that down in the comments. Schofield in goal. Pippa and Toffolo we like. Sarr and Edmonds Green is starting to build as a partnership. Eiting and Hogg. O'Brien, that's probably wrong. That's normally a 4-3-3, isn't it? Call it a 4-3-3 with Bakuna left and Benza right off of Fraser Campbell. Blackburn, good first team. Kaminsky. Nyambi I like a lot, actually. Keep an eye out for him. He might be a contender for my... in the conversation when we're talking about right-backs, I know there's some very good ones higher in the league, but Lenihan Ayala. Bell comes back in down the left over Douglas. Johnson, Tribal, Rothwell, who's playing well as well. Elliot, Armstrong, Brereton. Elliot actually gets substituted out of this one. Lewis Holtby in for Tribal on 11 minutes, so probably injury problem there for Tom Tribal. Where are my pictures of this one? Brilliant save by Schofield there from Armstrong there. 7. Armstrong's having... How many games since Armstrong scored? He's having a little quiet patch now. Him and Tony at the same time, I think. But great save there. Spot the ball again. Naby Sarr from the set play. Ex-Charlton centre-half just bulleting that header home for 1-0. Sam Gallagher with the rebound there. Makes it 1-1. And this is a great goal by Sarr. It's played over the top. And he actually controls it with his right foot. Shrugs off his man and sticks it home left foot. I think, is that Gallagher defending him? Must have just stayed up from a set play. Late goal, late winner, and a 5th straight home win for Huddersfield. The numbers tell us that, again, Rovers had a load of shots and they're not converting this excellent attacking roster they've got into wins and points and climbing off their league table. 7 shots to 4 in Huddersfield's favour on target, 2 big chances apiece. Let's have a look at the league table. Huddersfield, similar kettle of fish to Luton, given the changes and that all the parachute money went to the new owner. Corberon doing well, and similar with Luton, home form is going to be the thing. If the home form drops off for both of those teams, they become bottom 6 teams. But whilst the home form stays good for both of them, I can make that a home league table, can't I? So you can see Huddersfield, 5th best team in the league at home with 5 straight victories. And to throw Luton in there, 10th best team in the league with 11 points from the last 5 at home. So that is what's working for those 2 teams. In the middle of the table, Blackburn, yeah, I start to worry slightly now because they just shouldn't be in the bottom half with that first team. I do not think, and as much as I'm a huge Tony Mowbray fan, I think he may start to come under pressure. Under pressure, burns are building down. Blackburn should be 12th, says Mr. E. Michael says Littlewoods ran a yes on the Pools coupon. Classic stuff. Littlewoods, I remember one of those. There was one in Tower Ramparts in Ipswich when I was growing up. Classic. Mowbray should be doing better with that team. Agreed. Not a single position in that Blackburn side is bad. Agreed. Up the piece, Chris. Why didn't Douglas? I don't know. Just some, what do you call it? What do you call it? Where you switch the players around. Some begins with R. Oh, I hate it when you can't think of a word. Rotation. Tony has this season to prove he's worth keeping. Otherwise, out he goes. Fans are getting frustrated, says Dizzy Thumbs. I suspect they are. Lots of questions been asked of Mowbray now. Even some of his staunch supporters are having doubts. Ranking Costello is Blackburn's left back. Herman Munster out. It's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Jay says, Ben pulls up the home league table. I instantly felt sad looking at the bottom of it. Yeah. I didn't look down that far. Rotation. Thank you. Right, 2 to go. And a win for Wycombe. The third win as I get my pen caught in the hair. Pen caught in the hair. Pen caught in the hair. Wycombe 2, Cardiff 1. Neil Harris is going to get sent off as well. Well, look, let's go through this and we'll hypothesize what we think. Afterwards, there's your teams. Wycombe, Allsop, Grimmer, Knight. Tafazoli comes in and scores indeed. Jacobson, Wheeler, Thompson, Mehmeti, McCleary. Ikpezu gets, I think, is that his first start? I don't remember seeing him in the team often this season. Horgan there. Smithies in goal for Cardiff. Bakuna. Morrison with an injury. That's not good news. He's one of their most important players. Nelson, Bennett, Wilson, Volks, Rules, Ojo, Harris, Glatzel. And you start to say, take the lone players, Ojo and Wilson out of that team. And if Morrison's injured as well, and you know my feelings there. Here are some pictures. Tafazoli there, pretty much standing jump, flat corner, Wycombe set play. You know it's coming. Heads it in on the back post. This is a great goal by Wheeler. Love this. Third man run to the near post and climbs and drills that header in from a great cross from McCleary. Is this a future echo there? Neil Harris giving his marching orders right up in the referee's face. Junior Hoylett there converting the just managing to nod that one in for 2-1. But Cardiff go under to Wycombe. Like I say, only Wycombe's third win of the season. Their first win in 12 games, Wycombe. It has not been going well. And, you know, okay, they're 4 points from safety, but they're in contention with the bottom three. I know that ultimately doesn't matter. You can be as close to 22nd as you like. It's how close you are to 21st that deems whether you're going to stay up or not. But look, it's a win. It's something to build on for Wycombe. They've scored 2 goals in a game as well and managed to get over the line. So fair dues to them. For Cardiff, they're odd at the moment. 4 defeats in the last 5. They'd had a really nice win streak, hadn't they? But against tricky opponents, because they lost away at Norwich and they lost to Swansea, didn't they? But this is bottom of the league Wycombe. So no offence to Wycombe, we can't call them a hard opponent when they're down at the bottom of the league compared to the other 23 teams. Can we? You know what I'm saying? Problematic for Harris at the moment and red carded there. John, I'll go straight to him because he's got a Wycombe badge there. Big January for Wycombe. Games against Borough, QPR, Wednesday and Brum. Wow. Well. That will be an interesting one. What else have we got in here? In some miraculous way, we avoid the bottom 3. I'd love Wycombe to sneak out of it. Just want them down there at the minute for security. There you go. Very honest assessment there. Glad for Wycombe, says Geddes. Cardiff without Kiefer Moore struggling. There's a correlation there, actually. It was midway through the Swansea game. Moore went out. Mario, what do you think the score will be? What for Swansea City? Mario will be doing the preview show tomorrow morning, so check that out. I'll get this one done first. Is this an Oasis song here? He's electric. We signed him from Charlton Athletic. Signed in from Charlton Athletic. That's my Liam Gallagher impression for you. Oh, excellent. I can open the fake news sin bin. There we go. That might even be worth a block, a period block. Let me just bring up the fake news sin bin. There we go. Mr. Man, as ever. We had a horrible time with trolls last night, didn't we? As ever, Mr. Man, we applaud your bravery, wit, humour and sheer brilliance for making that gag. But you're in the fake news sin bin. There we go. We opened it up today. It smells a bit after last night. There was many people going in there. Can't not like Ainsworth and his positivity. That Ainsworth picture in the background looks like he's giving the thumbs up. Tremendous. Chris says Cardiff needs to invest in some youth. Must have one of the oldest squads in the league. I totally agree, Chris. Totally agree. I did my the biggest saleable asset video at each club. Just nothing there at Cardiff. I had to go for Rob Glatzel for European resale value, but hey, Brexit. But I totally agree. The best players are loan players or Sean Morrison or Junior Hoylett or something like that. Been here before with Cardiff, won 4 in a row. But if they lose at Rotherham on Saturday, surely he's a goner. What a strange comment. Ollie, I'll be live tomorrow morning, same time. Is Mr. Man a man? I'm not a man. I'm a machine. Chisel me down until I am. Name that tune. I bet no one can get that one. Last one. We got some Birmingham in the chat here, aren't we? I'm not reading that. Birmingham 0, Derby 4. Ouch for you Blues fans here. Terrible home defeat. And look at that. 3 down in 25 minutes. Goodness me. Etheridge in goal. We'll talk about him in a minute. I like him, but he's throwing them into his own net at the moment. Colin, Dean, friend, and Pedersen, Clayton, Gardner, and Sonny at central. Bella and Sanchez wide. Hogan, what you going to do, brother? Up top. Marshall in goal for Derby. Burn, Wisdom, Clark for Syfe comes back in. Knight, Bielik, Shinnie. That's starting to look nice, isn't it? Sibley gets a game. We had such high hopes for him this season. Hasn't quite happened. Kazim Richards doing a job. And Yoshviak also doing a decent job. We'll talk about him in a second. Let's have a look at some of these goals. Again, so we had a bad mistake from Etheridge in the previous home game, and he drops this one, and Bielik manages to pop that one home. Just the start you don't want, isn't it? Oh, God, I haven't taken the fake news sin bin off the bottom there. Let's replace that with that one. There we go. The fake news sin bin was open for a long time there. Harley Dean just clumsy here. Sibley right at the edge of the penalty box. Dean is winning the ball, but then look at the contact there with Sibley's just managed to get his body in. And I mean, jockey the guy anywhere else on the pitch, go in and make that tackle. But penalty box, you know, you're giving away a 77% chance according to XG, which Graham Shinnie wraps there. Spot the ball again. Top left-hand corner. Top left-hand corner as Etheridge looks. Now, I sometimes say I could have scored that goal. Well, I could have scored that goal. Kazim Richards, I think it's going in anyway, but good luck to him. Sticks it in over the line. I think Wisdom has flicked it on the near post. I think possibly has bashed off Clayton and maybe he's saving his blushes there. Second half. Look at Yoshviak there. Sorry, I couldn't get a picture without a Sky Sports logo in it, apparently. Yoshviak, beautiful floated in cross. And whoever that is who's lost Jason Knight, hang their head in shame because he runs in and sticks that one home. 4-0. Ouch. Big ouch for Birmingham. Great win for Derby, who's really good form under Wayne Rooney and Liam Rossinia continues. Derby have 11 points in their last 6 games. So Derby are basically in top 4 form over the last 6 games. And their only defeat has come in a game where they had 10 men from the 20th minute. So Derby looking good, actually, and up to 20th, 19 points. Going to want to continue that climb, and you'd just be starting to worry now a little bit if you're a Rangers fan or a Birmingham fan about being suckered in, and Coventry about being suckered back in. Birmingham, 4 defeats in 5, 2 wins in 13 for Birmingham. Not going so well there. They're in 18th and need a pickup. what are we saying in the chat here? Michael says, yay, the Rams at last. Indeed. It's weird how to read into it. It's an amazing derby performance for a shocking Brum one. I'm going to say it. Two things can be true. Ignoring Ben, he's probably bald like, yeah, I do, to be fair. Often an insult is a representation of the insulter's own insecurity rather than any issue you've got. Rooney will get it permanently. Yeah, I think he will now. It's been going so well. We're all sitting here this morning stunned that Karanka hasn't been sacked. Michael, yes, we'll give McLaren. I'm not sure it's all down to McLaren, but we have to give McLaren some credit. The results have picked up since he went back in there, didn't he? Blue Terrier, Karanka out. Doesn't know what he's doing. Jay says, I've never been so fed up with football in Birmingham lately. I'm hoping we lose to Blackburn so Karanka might get sacked. The Paul Lambert paradigm, that. Hoping you're going to get hammered. Don't want to take anything away from Rooney, but style of players just like under Mac. Yeah, we'll give him some credit. Hey, if the sporting director or director of football can help with the philosophy and help assist the young manager, then all for it here. Mowbray, Karanka and Rowett, the three you'd imagine under pressure. Yeah, I agree with that. Alex. A boring question, is the Derby takeover still going ahead? Yeah, tomorrow. Mr. E, tomorrow. Hey, that Birmingham side isn't that bad. I think they got some good players as well. I'd say that side is 12th to 16th rather than a relegation side in bad form. Oh, Sibley flicked it, did he? This is for the Kazim Richards goal. Problem is Karanka. He keeps changing the team, playing players out of position. Whenever he needs a goal, he takes attackers off and bring defenders on. Ben is now a Sheffield United fan. That's fake news. So the fake news sin bin opens up again. Ben, do you like the new Watford manager? I'll plead the fifth, Mario. I know very little about him and I didn't see the Watford-Norwich game. So that's all the evidence I've got. So pass on that one. And that is all 12 of them done. Boom. Awesome. Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. We will be back tomorrow. It never ends. Well, I say it never ends. We get 2 weeks off after January the 2nd. But the games are spread out over the next, it's only the Friday and the Saturday. So we'll be back with a preview tomorrow morning. We'll try and do 10:30 again. We'll be here for Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby at 5:30 tomorrow night. Join me for the watch along for that. And then I think it might well be Spurs and Leeds watch along for Dearly Departed and a super stream at 3 on Saturday. And we'll be here for the review show Sunday the 3rd. We'll do 10:30 again. So loads and loads of stuff on the channel coming up. I hope Ben is not a Sheffield United fan. What happens is when I say something nice about someone's football team, they get all excited and decide that I'm their fan, because neutral football fans can't say anything nice or bad without being biased, apparently. But please leave your bias at the door as ever. Thank you all. Happy New Year. Whatever you're sitting in front of the telly tonight, obviously no one's going anywhere, are they? Hopefully it's better next year. But thank you for all of you for your support this year. Please do make sure you've hit the subscribe button, rung the bell for notifications, and we will see you for loads and loads of content. Thanks again to Russ, a fan and now friend despite Ben's terrible taste in football teams. Russ is the fan sponsor of the Championship Review Show. You can get involved over there on Patreon, or just give me an email down at the bottom of that address there, benjaminbloommusic@gmail.com. Sorry, the new desk is higher up, and there's some holes in the wall I don't want you to see up there where there's been a frame. So I'm looking around the mic now on here. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And everybody, lovely comments in there. Flash them all up. And all that remains for me to say is over and out.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.